talking St. Bonaventure basketball on this morning's Fast Break with Ron Lemon, right here on the Phone Zone Sports Desk, powered by Express Bike and Auto. A10 is getting very interesting, Ron. Last night at LaSalle, Rhode Island was taken to overtime. They won 95-93, but LaSalle's a team that St. Bonaventure had a relatively easy time with in Philadelphia. So what can we surmise from last night's game with Rhode Island struggling in Philly?
You know, Rhode Island came into the Riley Center and lost. They go to LaSalle and at the Gola Arena, and they struggle. I think it just shows how difficult it is to win on the road. And the Bonnies have 2 games at home, 2 games on the road. I would not. We want them to go a minimum of 3-1. Obviously, we'd like to see them win all 4 games, but there's 2 games on the road. St. Louis is not going to be an easy task, and at VCU is not going to be an easy task. So, again, in the Atlantic 10, you really have to work to win on the road. So, hopefully, Bonas can continue to play the way they have. I remember earlier in the year when they beat Syracuse, and then started off the A10 season beating UMass, but then went on a really very difficult slide, and a lot of those games were on the road that they lost. So there's no given win on the road in the Atlantic 10.
You know, Matt Mobley has been the model of consistency for the past several weeks, and he's the guy that really stepped it up in the Rhode Island, won 26 points, 8 of 17 from the field. And you look at Jay Adams' stat line, and you're like, wow, who was this guy? Like Jekyll and Hyde almost, although, you know, all great players are entitled to one bad game or a couple during the course of a season. But that's the mark of a good teammate, in my estimation, Ron, is Matt Mobley just getting it done and really stepping up at a critical time when St. Bonaventure needed him to step up and play big time.
And again, I think that shows you the coaching prowess of Coach Schmidt. He coaches a team game, and he gets some elite players like we had Andrew Nicholson and now Jay Adams, but he also really develops players that he recruits and brings in. And to get a guy like Matt Mobley from Central Connecticut State for a couple of years and have him be an over 1,000-point scorer really bodes well for the recruiting ability for Coach Schmidt and the Bonner program in the coming years. But this is just a fun ride. This reminds me of the days when I was a kid following the Bonnies with Bob Lanier and Billy Caldwell and Jim Sadlin and Greg Sanders when they won the NIT. It feels good to see the Bonner program back and respected at the national level. Only got 13 votes for the AP Top 25, but I think if we can hold our own with the next coming 2 games, I'd like to see us crack into that Top 25. It's been a long time since we've been there.